You all still buy that Meghan's really 44? Hardly. She's 52, folks. All thanks to her endless plastic surgery miracles, blowing a fortune daily on that fake facade.
Being less than truthful with your age. But when you're a public person, it's kind of hard to hide it.
Meghan Markle has been accused of lying about her age for years, and not just by a couple of years like a Hollywood actor trying to stay forever young. No, we're talking about possibly 8 full years. When the truth started to leak, she reportedly lost it. Completely. Lawyers running wild, PR teams in chaos, phones ringing off the hook. This isn't just another celebrity fib, it's a lie so massive it could shatter everything she's built. And guess what? The evidence is sitting right there for everyone to see. March 1997, 17 magazine, page 19, clear as day, Meghan Markle, age 21. But wait, according to her official story, the one she told the Palace, Netflix, and even Oprah, she was born on August 4th, 1981. Do the math. If she was born in 81, then in 1997, she would have been 15, not 21. That's a huge 6-year gap. And before anyone says, oh, it's just a typo, no way. This isn't the only piece of proof, it's just the first crack in a very suspicious timeline. This woman stood before the Queen herself, signed royal documents, and told the world she was a young bride at 36. But what if she wasn't 36 at all? What if she was actually 42 or 43? That changes the whole picture. Because if Meghan really lied about her age just to step into royal life, then she didn't just trick Hollywood, she may have fooled Buckingham Palace itself. The entire monarchy might have been played like it was part of a blockbuster script. She didn't just fool the palace, she fooled the entire world. And that's not just humiliating, that's the kind of thing people might call global-level deception. But let's dig into one of the biggest clues: Northwestern University. Meghan claims she graduated in 2003 at age 22, the perfect just out of college age, right? But here's where the story starts to twist, because the photos don't lie. There are old group photos from her university days where Meghan is posing with classmates, and here's the kicker. Those classmates are now in their early to mid-50s. So what's going on here? Either Meghan was mysteriously hanging around with people a full decade older than her for no real reason, or maybe she was actually their age all along and has kept that hidden behind the perfect smile ever since. And you know what's wild? Nobody said a word. She blended right in, grinning for the camera like everything was totally normal. Nobody thought the nice girl from LA might have been pulling off a decades-long cover-up. But now, people are finally asking questions. And it seems Meghan is definitely not happy about it. Take that salsa club photo from Northwestern, it's all over the internet. Everyone in that picture, once you check their profiles on LinkedIn or Facebook, is the same age group, early 50s, born in the early 1970s. And there's Meghan standing right in the middle, same height, same glow, looking like one of them. You don't just accidentally show up in photo after photo surrounded by people 10 years older during your entire university life, unless there's something way deeper going on. That kind of thing doesn't just happen by accident. It happens when you really are that age and you've been hiding it all along. Let's be real. Hollywood has a long history of age cover-ups. An industry insider once told me, if you're a woman over 30 in this town, you lose half your chances overnight. So what do? They shave off 5, 6, sometimes even 7 years just to stay in the game. Suddenly they're landing the fresh new face roles instead of being typecast as the mom or the boss. Now take a hard look at Meghan's early career. She wasn't some breakout star lighting up screens in her 20s. She was grinding for years, a suitcase model on Deal or No Deal, tiny cameos in forgettable shows, endless auditions. That doesn't sound like a rising 20-something. That sounds like someone older, struggling to stay relevant, fighting for one last big break. And then finally, she lands Suits in 2011. If she was really 30, she was already pushing the limit for that role. But if she was actually 36, that changes everything. It means she might have convinced everyone in Hollywood she was younger, and it worked. She got the role, she got the fame, and eventually, she got a prince. But lies like that, they always come back around. Now check the timeline again. Back in 2006, she was still doing Deal or No Deal. If her birth year is 1981, that would make her 25 at the time, which fits the story. But if she was really pushing her 30s, maybe even mid-30s, then that paints a completely different picture. That's not just ambition, that's someone playing a very long, very risky game. But if Meghan was actually born in 1975, that means she was 31 years old when she was standing there on Deal or No Deal, clutching a briefcase and competing against 22-year-olds for the same spotlight. That's not ambition. That's straight up desperation. That's someone who's out of options, doing anything to stay visible in an industry that worships youth. And through it all, she kept the secret locked tight because she knew one thing. If Hollywood ever found out her real age, it would be game over. The roles would vanish, the offers would dry up, and the dream would crumble in seconds. Now, let's talk about Trevor Engelson. Her first husband, the name Meghan rarely brings up. They tied the knot in Jamaica in 2011 and split in 2013. The official reason? Distance, busy schedules, the usual Hollywood excuses. But there's something very curious about that timeline. Trevor was born in 1976. If Meghan was truly born in 1981, that makes her 5 years younger. Nothing unusual there. But if she was born in 1975 or 1976, that means they were the same age. Maybe she was even slightly older. And here's where it gets suspicious. Trevor hasn't said a single word. Nothing. Total silence. He reportedly signed an NDA, which sounds very convenient, doesn't it? But it raises the big question, what does Trevor know? He was married to her. He saw her passport, her driver's license, all her documents. If anyone on this planet knows the truth about Meghan's real age, it's Trevor Engelson. And that silence, that's not loyalty. That's either a legal muzzle or pure fear.
Sometimes I wonder whether this woman knows the difference between reality and truth. Whether she understands that what she says can be easily verified. And I'm wondering, if she has lied about her age and what she put in her wedding certificate is fake. I wonder if that marriage is valid as well.
Think about it. Trevor's not some random ex. He's a Hollywood producer. He knows how image works, how secrets get buried, and how damaging the truth can be in that world. So if he's keeping quiet, maybe it's not out of kindness, maybe it's because the truth is too explosive to handle. Trevor knew exactly how Hollywood worked. The age games, the fake backstories, the manipulation. He'd seen it all. So the big question is, did Meghan ever tell him the truth? Or did she lie to him too? Because if she did, that's not just a fib, that's fraud. You can't marry someone under false pretenses. That's literally grounds for an annulment. But here's where things get really interesting. NDAs don't protect you in court. If Trevor ever gets subpoenaed in Samantha's ongoing lawsuit, he'd have to speak under oath. And when that day comes, it's game over. Then comes May 19th, 2018, the royal wedding that the entire planet watched. And what did every media outlet repeat 100 times? Meghan Markle, age 36, marries Prince Harry, 36. It was the perfect fairy tale headline. The fresh-faced American actress, the modern youthful bride shaking up the centuries-old monarchy. But here's the bombshell. What if she wasn't 36 at all? What if she was actually 42 or even 43? Suddenly, the whole fairy tale starts to look a lot more scripted. That would mean Meghan wasn't the young spark bringing new life to the royals. She was a middle-aged woman who might have pulled off one of the most shocking image plays in modern celebrity history. And the palace? Well, they're stuck either way. If they didn't know, they look clueless. But if they did know and covered it up, that makes them complicit. Either scenario is a total royal disaster. And it leads to the biggest question of all. If Meghan really lied about something as basic as her date of birth, what else has she lied about? The miscarriage story, the mental health claims, the racism accusations. Once someone's caught bending the truth about the fundamentals, everything else starts to crumble. That entire royal wedding narrative, the glowing image, the modern love story, the global spectacle, might not have been the fairy tale everyone thought it was. It might have been a carefully built illusion, and it could all come crashing down. It was all built on a lie. Every headline, every glossy magazine cover, every glowing article about the young American actress was based on false information. Over 2 billion people tuned in to watch that royal wedding. 2 billion. And every single one of them was fed the same story. Meghan Markle, age 36, marries Prince Harry, age 33. A picture-perfect modern couple, right? But if Meghan was actually 42 or 43 at the time, that's not a 3-year gap. It's nearly a decade apart. And suddenly, Harry doesn't look like the charming prince who found his fairy tale love. He looks like a man who might have been outplayed by someone older, sharper, and far more calculated. The optics flip completely. The fairy tale starts to collapse in real time. And this is where things start to look really suspicious. When baby Archie was born in 2019, his birth certificate was filed with Meghan's full legal name, Rachel Meghan Markle. Totally standard, right? But then, just a few weeks later, something strange happened. The document was altered. Her personal names, Rachel and Meghan, were removed and replaced with only Her Royal Highness, the Duchess of Sussex. Now seriously, why would anyone do that? The palace tried to claim it was just protocol. But that's nonsense. Birth certificates aren't social media posts you can edit for aesthetics. They're legal records, permanent documents. You don't just go back and change them unless there's a serious reason. So what was Meghan trying to hide? Here's what it looks like. Meghan might be terrified of paper trails. She doesn't want her real legal name appearing on official records because those papers can be tracked, cross-referenced, and investigated. And if someone were to start digging into the name Rachel Meghan Markle through school files, old legal documents, previous marriages, passport applications, what might they uncover? The timing, the edits, the secrecy, it all points to someone who's trying to cover their tracks before anyone can connect the dots. It's not just strange, it's downright shady. Birth years that don't line up, timelines that completely contradict the official story, it all points to what looks like a decades-long deception. So what does Meghan do? She scrubs her name, cleans up her tracks, and hopes nobody digs too deep. But guess what? People noticed. And not just fans online. This move raised serious eyebrows because changing a royal birth certificate is not normal. It's highly unusual, even by royal standards. Royal births are recorded with military-level precision. These aren't just any babies, they're in the line of succession. Every single detail matters. Names, dates, places, all logged permanently for the record. So for Meghan to alter that document, it wasn't a small edit. She had to go through official royal channels and get explicit approval. Which means one of two things happened. Either she manipulated the system herself, or someone inside the palace helped her do it. Either way, it's shady. It absolutely reeks of cover-up. And then there's Thomas Markle, Meghan's father, the man she's completely cut out of her life now. He's spoken plenty about her over the years. Interviews, press appearances, public statements, trying to defend himself against her claims. But here's what's fascinating. When people ask Thomas directly about Meghan's real age, he suddenly gets vague. No straight answers, just dodging and mumbling. Why? Think about it. You're a parent. You know the exact year your daughter was born. That's not something you forget. So why can't he just say it? It's a simple question. Mr. Markle, what year was Meghan born? Should take 2 seconds to answer, but he doesn't. He dances around it, changes the subject, gives half responses, and that hesitation, that silence, it speaks volumes. Because if even her own father won't confirm her real birth year, it makes you wonder, what exactly is he hiding and why won't he tell the truth? Thomas doesn't deny it. He hints, he suggests there are discrepancies, and that's where things get wild. Why would he do that? Either he's protecting her, which feels unlikely after how she's treated him, or he's legally barred from speaking, or, most shocking of all, he knows that the truth would destroy her. And now, with Samantha's lawsuit against Meghan heating up, Thomas is listed as a potential witness. You can bet her legal team is preparing the question that could blow this open. Mr. Markle, what is your daughter's real date of birth? Once he's under oath, if he's forced to answer honestly, that's when the entire house of cards could collapse. Just think about Thomas's position here. He's been publicly dragged by his own daughter, vilified worldwide. She's called him a liar on international television, accused him of staging paparazzi photos, and completely cut him off from her life. She even kept him from meeting his grandchildren. He's had every possible reason to expose her and clear his name, but he hasn't. He keeps quiet. He dodges. That silence says a lot. To stay quiet after being humiliated like that? It screams one of two things. Either he's legally bound by some kind of powerful agreement we don't know about, or the truth is so explosive that even he doesn't want to be the one to set it off. Either way, something's being kept under wraps, and it's huge. So how's Meghan handling all this? Has she come forward to clear the air? No. Has she shown her birth certificate? No. Has she addressed that 17 magazine article or the college photos? Again, no. Instead, she's gone straight into attack mode. Lawyers firing off cease and desist letters, PR teams spinning 24/7, and social media pages mysteriously locking down. Photos vanish, posts get deleted, entire mentions wiped from the web. Every time questions get too close to the truth, Meghan's team doesn't explain. They erase. And that's what's most telling, because people who have nothing to hide don't go into hiding. They face the truth head on. This is not how someone acts when they have nothing to hide. If your timeline was clean, you'd just laugh it off, right? You'd say, here's my birth certificate, here's my passport, case closed. But Meghan hasn't done that. And not because she won't, it's because she can't. According to sources very close to the situation, and yes, there are people talking, Meghan reportedly had a total meltdown once this story started spreading, screaming at staff, calling emergency meetings with her lawyers, frantic late-night calls to her PR team. It was chaos behind the scenes. Remember, this is a woman who's built an entire multi-million-dollar empire around being the misunderstood Duchess, the victim of unfair treatment, the one who tells her truth. But here's the twist. What happens when her truth isn't true? That's the nightmare Meghan can't escape. People who've worked directly with her have said the same thing again and again.
In 1997, when she met Yasmin Bleeth, when she claims that she was working for Humphrey Yogurt, age 13, she also, or somebody with the name Meghan Markle, filled out a questionnaire for Sears, the company, claiming that she was 21 years of age.
Meghan is obsessed with controlling her image. Every single photo, interview, and public post is planned down to the smallest detail. She micromanages everything, her lighting, her angles, her captions, because her brand depends on perfection. So when a story like this explodes, something she can't control, something that flat out contradicts her public narrative, she doesn't handle it calmly, she reportedly spirals straight into crisis mode. And the real problem for her? This isn't disappearing. You can't bury it with one of those polished statements or a sympathetic sit-down with a friendly journalist. Not this time. The proof is everywhere. The magazine's archived, the photos exist, her former classmates remember. You can't just rewrite the past when the receipts are public record. Now, Meghan's trapped. The story's out, the timeline's cracking, and the walls are closing in. She spent years perfecting her image, but when that image starts to fall apart, all the PR spin in the world can't save it. She's cornered, and she knows it. Now let's talk about Netflix. The streaming giant handed Harry and Meghan over $100 million for their so-called authentic documentaries, behind-the-scenes specials, and their exclusive look at royal life. But here's the question shaking up Hollywood. What if it's not authentic at all? What if the woman Netflix built their entire content empire around has been lying about basic facts, like her age, her background, or even parts of her personal story? Sure, Netflix doesn't care if a celebrity takes a few years off for vanity. That's showbiz. Everyone knows that game. But what they do care about is legal liability. If Meghan signed those massive contracts using information that turns out to be false, her age, her marriage history, or any biographical data, then those deals could technically be invalid. And that opens a dangerous door. Netflix could accuse her of fraud, demand their money back, or worse, sue her. And trust me, you can bet Netflix's legal department is working overtime right now. They're combing through every single document she's ever signed, every statement, every claim she's made. Because if this age scandal checks out, it raises a bigger question. What else has she been dishonest about? Netflix is now stuck in the middle of a PR nightmare. They've poured millions into Meghan's brand, built entire campaigns around her truth. But if that brand was built on shaky ground, on a lie, then the whole thing's ready to crumble. It's like a mansion built on sand. Once the tide rolls in, the whole structure collapses. Think about it from Netflix's point of view. They're a publicly traded company with shareholders and investors watching their every move. If the world finds out they paid $100 million to someone who falsified personal details, it's not just a bad headline, it's a disaster. Their reputation takes a brutal hit, their stock could drop, and suddenly, Netflix, the company that sold authenticity, ends up being part of the biggest Hollywood deception of the decade. The humiliation alone would be crushing. Let's be real, I've been dragged for years for calling out Meghan Markle. People love to say I'm obsessed, that I'm a bully, or that I've got some kind of personal vendetta. absolute nonsense. I don't go after people for fun. I go after liars, hypocrites, and those who use their fame to manipulate and deceive. Meghan Markle has made millions playing the eternal victim, crying to Oprah, selling sob stories about being misunderstood, and even writing children's books about kindness while cutting off her own family. And if it turns out she's been lying about her age, something so basic and easy to prove, then it opens the door to a much bigger question. What else has she lied about? What about the palace drama, the racism claims, the mental health story, that whole narrative about feeling trapped inside the royal system? Was it truth, or was it a carefully crafted performance? No one knows for sure, but you can bet I'm not stopping until the truth comes out. Because this isn't about gossip, it's about accountability. The truth matters. Facts matter. And Meghan has spent far too long controlling her version of the story, editing the narrative to suit her image while silencing anyone who questions it. But the tide is turning, the cracks are showing, the walls are closing in, and this time, no army of lawyers or slick PR statements can stop it. You can't spin your way out when the receipts are out there for everyone to see. Meghan built her empire on image, but the truth? The truth always finds its way out, and when it does, not even Hollywood or Buckingham Palace will be able to protect her from the fallout. Now, here's the thing about the truth. It always comes out in the end. Always. You can fool the public, charm the press, and sell your story to Netflix and Oprah all you want. But there's one place where none of that works. The courtroom. You can't fake your way through a sworn statement. You can't spin your way past hard evidence staring you right in the face. And that's exactly where we are right now. The receipts are real, the questions are piling up, and the lawsuit is rolling forward fast. No more hiding behind PR teams, no more carefully worded statements. It's time for Meghan Markle to finally face the music. Every lie, every cover-up, every twisted version of the truth is about to be dragged into the light. Because when the truth hits, there's nowhere left to run, and this time it's not a movie, it's real life. If you're just as ready for the truth to come out, make sure to like, subscribe, share, and drop a comment below, because this story is far from over and you won't want to miss what happens next.